Hello. Can everyone hear me alright? Yay. Alright. I think we're recording and streaming and stuff and everything, so welcome to the JMLectures. Oh my gosh, we're back. So we haven't done these for a while, but we used to do a bunch of these. They're all up on YouTube as well. Highly recommend checking them out. They're from like some of the best players in JML, and they've given like little mini lectures just like in uni, guys. Oh my gosh, because we're in a uni club. That's the joke. So anyway, for those who don't know me, I'm Connor, MAST, Cafe, Notion, whatever. For why I'm doing this, I guess like my like like why am I credible to do this? I've won a JMLeague. I think it was like 5 or 6. I can't remember. Six. There you go. I've been PR'd in Victoria like 3 times, and I'm currently 8th in the state. So I've been playing for like 8 or 9 years as well. Hopefully, you know what I'm talking about. You don't have to listen to me. I'm really providing like a framework. But today we're mainly covering how to pick stages. That's right. So today, oh wait, next slide. I'm not doing the thing. You may have seen something like this. Maybe on the phone, you see that the stream is set up right there for the Mario Kart edition. This is the stage list, the rule set, the possible stages you can go to. So I'm going to quickly go over so we run Battlefield, Small Battlefield, Final Destination, PS2, Smashville, Town City, Hollow Bastion, Kalos, and Lilac. The rule set changes like every now and then with slight adjustments. Australia, we've currently got a unified rule set, meaning every single state runs this rule set. We used to not do that. But if you look at this image and you don't understand a few things, let's clear those up right now. So bands, 3, 4, 1, what do those numbers mean? Pretty much, when you go to play a set, you RPS with someone, rock, paper, scissors, and if you win the RPS, you get to ban 3 stages, then your opponent bans 4, and then you ban 1, going through the whole 9. Hence 3, 4, 1, that's the order of the number of bans you do based on who wins the RPS. We also do winner bans 3. That means after the winner wins the first game or any game in a set, they ban 3 stages of the 9, which means the rest the loser can pick from. We also do character first because we are sensible and educated people in this country. Other countries, come America, they do character second after stage, which means before picking a stage, you have to declare your character before picking the stage. And then we have no DSR. What is DSR? It stands for Dave's Stupid Rule. A guy named Dave in a tournament, he was playing against like Melee Math, and they were constantly going back to FD, and he's like, man, this is so dumb, I hate playing on FD. And so Dave's like, you cannot go back to the stage you have won on in the set. So if I'm playing a set and I win on Town and City, that means I can't go back there. I only get 1 a set. There's this thing called MDSR, Modified Dave's Stupid Rule, which is the last stage you won on rather than any stage that you won on that set. Which means if I win on Town and then I win another game, I have access to go to Town again if they choose not to ban. So I think that's how you interpret the rule set. Yeah. We're not doing DSR and DSR though, so forget about that, but it does exist. Next slide, please. So stages. We've got a cute little website, Ritvic, I'd like you to pull up. Please press escape. Go to tab, the orange one, Super Smash. Yeah, this one, yeah. So first thing about going like any stage thinking at all, highly recommend checking this website out. Tournamenta. This guy from Queensland made this website. Everyone in the world uses it. And it basically does stage comparisons for the blast zones, where the platforms are, and also ranks them based on how close they are to the platforms and the blast zones and such. So for example, if you click on like FD on the side there, it brings up the FD layout, and now you can see the differences on how far the stage is compared to the blast zones, which is very, very useful for interpreting what stages you kind of want, I guess. So definitely recommend checking this out because everyone uses this as a basis for also deciding general rules of stages as well. So if you go back, PowerPoint, please, Rivik. Yeah, general rules like Town is good for killing off the side. Why? Because the blast zone is the shortest distance there is to where the stage is. So that means if your character is good at killing off the side, you should go to Town. Cough right. Kalos is big, good for running away, good for not dying. Battlefield is good for vertical combos because the top blast zone is shortest to where the top platform is on Battlefield. So characters that kill off the top are really good, and FD for horizontal combo characters since there are no platforms at all. You can develop these rules by deciphering it for yourself. I will say if there's like one thing to take away from this lecture, it would be make sure to figure out stages by yourself rather than just looking online and seeing like, oh, this character is good for X, Y, Z, but why? Because there's sometimes in the set you'll be put in a position where you don't understand, like you need to pick a stage and it's not working out for you. You need to be able to have the foundations for why you pick stages that are good for you in the first place. So that you can actually, pick stages. But we'll get onto that foundational right now with the next slide. Bang! How to pick stages. So I would say there are two methodologies of when you're playing a set. You either pick stages that are good for you, or you take away the stages that are good for your opponent, right? Because, well, let's define like what does it mean to have a good stage? If we go to the next slide, stop looking at your phone. Yeah, so there's two variables involved. I divide them into character and strategy for what makes a stage good for you. So if you could please bring up clip 1 with it. I'll tab and yeah. Yeah, this one, yeah. Alright, watch this clip, ready?
He gets that one hit, Sonics is going for a ride. Here comes
Bang.
down, up, down, up. No, he's still down. Into the blast zone. The grip.
What great game design we have. I love playing this game, don't you? So as we can see, the Kazuya, the character Kazuya, just 0 to death. This poor Sonic, although he may have deserved it. Now that occurred on Kalos, right? So would it be true to say that the Kazuya was only able to do this because of the stage? I would say yes. There's no platforms in where the 0 to death had occurred, right? So you could say Kazuya is probably good without platforms, since doing that 0 to death allowed him to do that. Don't want to take Kazuya to FD, you don't want to take Kazuya to town, you don't want to take Kazuya to Kalos because he can do, well, I'm not going to swear, but do very silly things like that, right? That's a factor of the character, right? And the character's tools that are available to them to enable that kind of stuff. In a similar example, if we go to the next clip, please, Rivik. Oh, it's me.
Oh my god!
Oh, wow,
Again,
nearly
no,
died
he's
for
living,
it.
he's living.
Again?
Wow.
Oh,
What was that?
I
I think he died at 40. We are on Town City. I am playing Roy. Roy, known for good at killing off the sides. I just killed poor old Diddy Kong here, although he may have deserved it again. At 40% on Town City. Because why? Town has the smallest blast zones. But I'm saying things you guys already know. This is very obvious, right? But the question I pose to you all is, what if this Roy and this Kazuya was playing a set together? Roy has to ban. The Kazuya leaves open town and city. It's really good for Roy. It's also really good for Kazuya. So what do we do, guys? Do we go to Town City? I don't know. Always go to Town City. I do that anyway. So when you have a factor that the two characters are both good on the stage, then it comes back to the previous question. Do I ban what's good for me and go to town, or do I take away what's good for them? So how do we decipher this question? This question is the main thing that makes stage picking hard in the first place, right? So this comes down to weighing up potential benefits of what you are good as a player and what he is good as a player, right? So let's say that game played out, whatever, right? And the Kazuya is rinsing this Roy. Down throw, equip, 0 to death. He's dying. The Roy not getting any jump backers on the ledge. He's not taking advantage that the stage is meant to provide the Roy. However, the Kazuya is getting the full benefit. So the Roy ends up losing that game, right? This leads to part 2. Next slide, please. Oh, I was just going through this. Yeah, whatever. All right, next slide. Which is the strategy, right? The stage is only as good as you make it with the tools that you use of that character. What do I mean by that? If I'm playing Roy and I'm not taking advantage of the fact that I'm killing early, then the stage is no longer useful for me trying to kill early, right? What I mean by that is that it's the strategy. Because as traditional, like, what stages are good for your character, only is coming from the meta of the character that you're playing. But if you are not playing to the meta of your character, or using the reason why you want to go to that stage in the first place, then the stage is not useful for you, right? If I'm playing Roy and I'm not killing off the side, do I really need to go to town? And if I'm playing Kazuya and I'm not getting those like clean 0 to deaths and I'm trying to play more platform-based instead, are the FDs really as useful for me as possible? Which is why it is important to consider, in between games, what is actually providing you the benefit and what strategies are you implementing, right? I had a debate once with a Queensland player, Kajek, where we were discussing like the effectiveness of like going to town between Roy and Palutena. And he made the argument for me after going to town that, yeah, I do want to take Roy to town because I'm going to play in a way that I'm going to not be camping the sides to get killed off early, and the platforms are actually more beneficial for me as a Palutena player that outweighs the benefit that the Roy gains for killing off the side. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So, mid-set, you need to decide, based on your strategy, what is providing you the benefit. So if we go to the next clip, please, Ruby.
C'est jamais vu ça. Va le faire. Il reste 34 secondes. Oh, va le faire. C'est terminé. C'est terminé. Oh, il va le voir pour commencer sans faire. C'est terminé. Alors que les gens crient, ils font le décompte. Ils font le décompte, écoutez. Il le fait. Celui s'est abandonné. Celui s'est abandonné. Celui s'est abandonné. Qu'est-ce que tu veux?
What has happened there? So if you guys don't know, Sonic is infamous for playing a timeout strategy. You know, up and stop. You know the vibes, right? However, in the set we just saw, the Pac-Man player used the timeout strategy against the Sonic player where it was ineffective. So if, let's say, the set continued, Sonics may have realized that timing out this Pac-Man is now an ineffective strategy, which means that going to these stages where like you have to time out with like town, playing like such a runaway game may not be effective, and would want to maybe even choose smaller stages since you can't play timeout anymore. But yeah. So strategy, I'd say, is what makes, like, what lets you like know how to actually pick stages, because you need to see what's going on the screen specifically. Sorry, is this mic going in and out? I don't know. So strategy could also mean when you do go back to that stage, make you change your strategy in the first place. Going back to the Kazuya and Roy example, if I'm playing Roy and I wasn't getting those like effective side killing like things that let me win the game, then it's like, man, I need to make sure I develop that strategy to allow the stage to like be more effective for me. I'll be changing. All right. Bang. Hello. Okay. Yeah. Alternatively, if picking a different strategy for your character, that is also what allows for you to like win games in other areas that may not be meta defining. So another example I can think of off the top of my head is my set against Zav, where we was going to Town City, Smash Ball, all that stuff. And in one game, he left open Battlefield. And instead of trying to play that hyper-aggressive, like, I'm going to get in your face and kill off the side, that's what Roy's known for, instead, I'm like, oh, hang on, Peach actually doesn't have a lot of mobility. She can't catch Roy. And so I ended up playing a timeout Roy on Battlefield, where I jumped between the platforms, and he couldn't catch me. And he ended up having to approach me in unorthodox ways. Even though that's not the meta for my character, I'm utilizing a strategy that is good on that stage specifically in order to take the win. So I hope you guys understand the difference and the synergy between implementing a strategy and what your character is used for of implementing that strategy. Yeah. But yeah, it's like it's not a hard and fast rule, but it's definitely like another system that you can use to be like, how do I want to play this upcoming game, essentially. But yeah, so next slide, please. Alright, list of etiquette and caveats. We've got a beautiful photo of Griffith here. He's actually in the same position, in the same jumper. Real time. So yeah, stage-specific things. When you guys are looking through like the stage comparison tool, make sure you realize things that are specific to those stages or specific to your character. So slants are important. As you guys know, Remora, Jerry, when they play Belmonts, they don't like Lilac because it messes up their like, down B, Holy Fire, ledge trapping stuff because the slant exists. Same thing applies for like items like Link Bomb. It rolls down the slant. There's small interactions that change that if you're getting owned by this Link who is ledge trapping you relentlessly, I'm going to do Lilac, So then it's not as effective anymore. Same thing with like moving plats and wall jumps. Color specifically, very nice. It's like another like tool to like recover and such. Another thing you'll hear is you might not hear it here, but in more common tournaments, they'll say something along the lines of run it back. If you watch professional play live, he'll always do the whirlwind with his finger because he's mad and he wants to keep momentum, and that's why he doesn't care about stages. He's just like, all right, whatever we just played off, let's go back right now. Because he wants to get back into the game as fast as he can. But on the counter, reflection of that, the other side of the coin, I guess, stage picking is a great time for reflection, right? When not only does, the strategy and character and thinking about stages, it makes you reflect, what only went well and didn't go well in between the games, but can be used as, it forces you to reflect. You can take a breather and you can actually keep your head in the game, which is probably the most important thing for a set. Because some people think man, I gotta pick a stage, whatever, right? But no, you can actually just use it was the stage I just played on good for me? Why was I losing? Why was I winning? What stage can allow me to win in the next game, right? You'll also commonly hear, want to start PS2. As for me, I say, want to start town. Now this is a great method for getting an unknowing person to go on a stage that you like. Don't fall for it. It's bad. PS2 is not a neutral stage, guys. Don't do it. Do not do it. And then the final point would be that stages are a myth. You can literally disregard everything I've just said because what matters is the interactions that play out during the game. But I will say, why would you give yourself less of an opportunity to win when you can slightly benefit yourself by knowing the stages and how you want to play your strategies on those stages as well? But yeah, I think that's basically everything I wanted to cover. Do we have any questions? Yes.
What's the closest thing to a neutral stage?
I'm gonna say small battlefield. Yes.
What last
What? Where you die. Yeah. It's not a good place to be there. Yes, Trent.
I was gonna apply what I've just learned.
Oh yeah, true. I forgot to do this slide. That's so funny. Okay, so you're here right now. You just heard me speak. You probably didn't get anything from it. But what if you can apply what I just said, right? So you need to think about what your character wants, right? If I'm Roy, I want to kill off the side. It's what are your win conditions for your characters? If I'm Kazuya, I want FD so I can do my dumb combos. I'm gonna use swear words. But if I'm Sonic, I want to run away. It's very basic things. If I'm playing a ranged character, I need more space to be able to set up my projectiles. If I'm a brawler, I want a smaller stage so I can get in there and grapple. What kind of combos do I like? If I'm playing Mario, I want to ladder them up to the top. Things like that, right? So you need to figure out what are your win conditions? What are your characters like? What is the meta of your character? Another good way of doing that is watching tournament play, going on YouTube, typing up your character, and see what kind of stages they like to go. And try and figure out the reason why they like to go there in the first place. And you can help analyze that by using the tournament website. It's damn, why is this person going to the stage I don't like? And then you realize, oh, it lets you kill off the top. You need to understand the reasons why these players are going to these stages. And Yeah, and also having useful information about what other characters want, so you can apply stage picking against characters is very, very vital. You'll probably gain that like over time just by playing. It's like, wow, I'm playing as an ice climbers, and they took me to FD, and then I got like that wasn't very fun, so I won't go there again. But it's good to do like some pre-checking because there's like 80 something characters in this game. You're not going to know every single character's strengths and weaknesses, stages they want before going into a set. So why not try and build a knowledge bank while you can? Okay, yeah, I think that's actually all I wanted to cover. So, but yeah, like do your homework is what I'm trying to say, and think actively. Yes, Stanislav.
If I don't know what state I want to get, it's a good idea to
There is technically, you can technically let your opponent pick stages first. I don't think it's like a bad idea because then you get to learn like what they don't want by them banning first. But I think if you don't know what you want in a matchup, you should just start by picking stages that you know you like. Unless if you don't know that, then I would say go back to 0.1 and figure out what you guys like. But yeah, it's always safe to try and go for neutral stages or stages that you like, and then adjust from there depending on how the set plays out. And then you go back to the thing I mentioned about changing your strategy, what strategy your opponent wants, stuff like that. Yes, Grab.
Is it a better idea to practice the stages the character is good at, or practice the stages the character is bad at?
I would say, well, what do you think is more probabilistic when you play a set? If you're perma banning Lilac every single time because you hate Lilac for some reason, it's a fantastic stage. You guys should try it out.
Lilac's great. Let's
Like,
go.
if you're gonna perma ban Lilac, then don't practice there.
You
That's
hate him because he speaks the truth.
I am speaking the truth. Like, sure, don't practice Lilac, right? And sure, practice on the stages because more often than not, you're going to get them. But what I would say in counter to that is with all the variables of stage picking that I just mentioned, I think you should practice all stages non-biased / equally, because there's going to be a time where you're going to end up a stage in this nonchalant situation against a character you've never played against before, and you're like, damn, I guess I'm going here. So you should be playing on all stages equally, in my opinion. Yes, Harrison.
What's your opinion on gentlemen things that is important.
I did dislike that video. Just let you know, I'm the one dislike.
What's your opinion on that? On like
General gentlemanly, like, yeah, that's like the one star PS2. Like, it's got its caveats where like you can get into the game sooner, but also stage picking is information. Not only in what your opponent doesn't want, which helps you like ban in future for like what you leave stuff open, but also not only in what they don't want, but thinking about why they don't want it. It's like, why would they ban Battlefield against me? It's like, are they scared of like vertical combos or getting camped out? It's like, if they are presenting a sore spot for them and banning a specific stage because of a strategy that they're afraid of, then you can use that to your advantage in other potential stages that you can pick as well. So I would say it's always useful to go through bans, however painful it may be sometimes. So, yeah. Tom.
why isn't WarioWare legal yet?
I don't know, man. I'd love to play on WarioWare.
Yeah, I agree.
Just want to say real quick, I think counter picks are dumb in like other countries. Glad we don't do it here. But that's also a thing that we may or may not do one day. But I won't cover it now. So, yeah. Do you have any other questions? Yes, Will.
Can you also elaborate on
What do you mean?
what's the counter?
So in other countries or other potential rule sets, there's starters and counter picks. So when you do your RPS, you only have the starter stages available, which may be like 5 or so. But when you go into like after someone's won a game, then other stages become available when they weren't initially available at the first initial RPS. So it's a counter pick stage because you do it when you're counter. Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, I think I'll leave it there. Do you have any more questions or want to talk about stuff you want to talk to you personally and hash it out? So I hope that was useful.